Hi, this is Claire again with the full moon cards, and this time we are using the Light and Shadow Tarot from Michael Goepferd. We would say he is from Germany, so or he was from Germany, so I say his name in German Goepferd. Like OE is like an O with two dots above in German. Yes, and Brian Williams, and there are no how you say in English, things that happen just by accident. These do not exist, right? Because last time with the full moon cards, initially I wanted to take these cards, but then I somehow took the usual ones. And after the reading, the full moon reading was published in between to this full moon reading, the co-creator of the deck wrote a comment, because I had used this deck like 2 or 3 years ago, and he was writing a comment if I still find it useful, and I was like, whoa, this is not like just happening. There is something deeper to it. The strings in the web of life are vibrating, you could say. And so I wanted to use it at least this time. The Light and Shadow Tarot, he died quite young, and his niece here in Germany is still publishing his art and his prints, so I will put a link in the description box of the video if you are interested in his art. These cards are really lovely. I don't know if they are still printed or if you have to take them used. They are from Destiny Books. And yes, you have this lovely box. You have a book with all the details from the cards, and also a little bit about his art as an artist, about the artist you see here. He came from Coburg in Germany, and yes, some things about the artist and his prints. And this is one of these tarot decks. Yes, here like a little Mercury, you could say. One of these tarot decks that really have been perceived, and I will show you some cards while talking. You know, I personally distinguish between perceived tarot decks and just design tarot decks. And you might know this, many decks these days, they are just like a special design, and we put it on the Smith Waite cards and then we can sell. Yes, for example, when you see the cat tarots, there are some actually perceived cat tarots where you feel, yes, the artist had a vision. Yes, there was something coming from above that inspired them. It has esprit, right? But many cards are just like the designer had to do something to make it sell. And this is, you really feel it with the cards. At least I feel it. So these cards are really... yes, with esprit. They are like the artist is really living with the cards and feeling them, and there is something unique and something that is that adds something, that adds a divine spark to the cards, right? There is something that was really perceived, and not just like I'm thinking about a special design, or these days maybe even KI. Do you say KI? Artificial intelligence, I don't know how you call it in English. We say KI because künstliche Intelligenz means artificial intelligence in German. So yes, the High Priestess, for example, this is really, really unique, the cards. So if you're interested in prints like these, in art like this, if you enjoy black and white decks also, this could be something for you. So we will have a look at the cards now at the reading, and I will put all relevant links below the video. So let's start. And our first card is the 3 of Swords. And we see here the Libra, and we see Saturn. And yes, this is what this card is about. We see Saturn is a power or an energy of diminishing. It is very stern. It is very German grandparents-like, you could say. It is very like, you know, Scrooge from the tale, the Christmas tale, like this. Yes, a penny pincher, someone who is always like in traditional depictions, Saturn is often with a size, so he is like the reaper. He is diminishing, he is mowing down, he is about less is more, but often in ways that are not beneficial towards life. I mean, every power has to exist and has its blessings and also its bad sides. Also, the growing powers like Jupiter can be very bad. If you have like a growing Cancer, you don't want too much growth. So every power is needed, but sometimes they can hurt, every one of them. So this is Libra, and Libra is about beauty, and like the Native American walk in beauty. It is the zodiac sign for this saying, and it is very much about arts and very nice, and as a person, someone who is very nice to be around. And now this lovely, enchanting energy is with Saturn, and this can't go good ways. And we see here the swords, they belong to the element of air, which is Libra also belonging to. And this means the air wants to flow, the air wants to be free, it does not want to be constricted. Free thinking, right? Free speech, all of the things we might be missing these days a little bit. And when there is this Saturn energy and everything is so diminished, it starts to hurt the heart, right? And the heart is like tears are streaming from the heart. And it's also when we think too narrow, too small, when we don't allow thinking to be broader, and we need it to be broader. Like I always call this card a homework card. Yes, some cards in tarot are just about the energy is like that. But some cards are like, you have to do something. And this card is one of them. So this means broaden your view. Like these days, craziness jumps on us whenever we look at the screen. And we tend to look on screens too often. So you know what I mean. And this means broaden your view. Like for example, many people are on social media. But many people are also starting to avoid it because of all the craziness, because of it's not for people anymore. Like to show the broad picture of how people are interested and what they like and so on. It's just about the algorithm, and the heaviest emotions sell the best. So I personally see that many people who are a little bit like us here, they start to diminish their intake of this. They start to be very aware of what's going on and how much they want to consume of this, and some cancel it altogether to stay balanced. So, for example, there are many people also working for positive things, for working together, for standing together, for bringing back positivity, and yes, in many different ways. So when you are very desperate, and it's totally okay to be desperate, but when you are desperate in any area of life, this is just one example, see the good things too. They are just as real as the bad things. Yes, this is something we can forget now. It's easy to see what is brought upon us, like when you look at the screen, and some things, they really jump into real life. So people are like on the screen. Yes, this happens, but there are still many friendly people searching and finding solutions, people working for the good things, for a unification and for strength of mind, of heart. And this is just as real. So get a broader picture, whatever it is. This can also apply for family life, for the relationship maybe towards your child, or to a good friend, or maybe in work, that you just think there's just this one little way and I don't want to go it, and this way hurts me. So this card means no, you have to be active. You have to step out of your usual patterns. Have a look how others deal with the situation and really listen to them. Yes, because sometimes we are the complainers and the needy ones. Everyone sometimes is. I mean, it's just human. And I think most of us have a friend who is just like, oh, I need advice, and there is constant drama, and you say advice, but they never act on it, right? So this is just human. But when this card shows up, you really have to listen to others. Open your ears and listen for possible other solutions that different people have found, and maybe something of it applies to you. Yes, the most important thing here is to get out of Saturn thinking, of end time thinking, or however you want to call it. this is maybe a very literal translation from German, we would say end time thinking. Get out of this, broaden your view, right? Find Libra again, the beauty, walk in beauty. It is like being happy these days is like being the most rebellious thing you could do, I sometimes feel. Yes, no matter if people are more on the right spectrum, the left spectrum, wherever, everyone is having a bad mood, right? And if you come in and sprinkle a little bit of sunshine at first onto yourself, please, and then onto others, then everyone hates you, yes? Like, you can't be so unserious and things like that. But this is a solution. It is walking in beauty, and this card will tell us a little bit about this too. So we will proceed, but this was that card. And the 10 of Cups here, it is about Mars, so this means a lot of power in Pisces. And Pisces are, yes, they are very intuitive, they are dreamy, but the Mars power goes well with them. I mean, I'm a Pisces myself, and I sometimes say, yes, there are also swordfishes, so please don't think it is just about being like, I don't know how Pisces are often depicted, like these, I don't know how to say it in English exactly, but very fluid people that are with their heads in the clouds. We are often like shown in astrology, and I can't go with this. Because fluidity, yes, but not just being random or being an addict or being whatever. We get a bad rap. I mean, we can partner up with the Scorpio types. We have a bad rap. So they are the active bad rap and we are the passive bad rap, you could say. So no. Pictures are much broader, yes? Broaden your view. So the Pisces are also about being able to move. When you know the classical sign, one fish is going up, one fish is going down. So you are able to see both sides of the coin, right? And Mars brings power. And what we see on this card here is two people dancing. And we see here something that reminds me very strongly of the ancestors of these people. And this could be like a tree of life, yes? Or maybe some harvesting things, like when the corn, the wheat is in these, I don't know how you say this in English, when you have a big bunch of wheat and it was put together and was standing on the field and then it was taken. You might know what I mean. This reminds me very much on this harvest situations too. So listen to your ancestors, ask them for advice. And sometimes we have a very narrow picture of ancestors, like, oh, many thousand years ago and like in golden age or something like that. So of course, there are ancestors that are good towards you, some that don't feel about you at all, and some people that really like you on the other side. And we can take this a little bit more practical in everyday life sometimes. I have read a book about Italian folk magic not too long ago, and she wrote, for example, about yes, that you can ask your granny, like when you want to make a recipe like she did, and you simply don't get this twist, and she will be when you're cooking in your hands and in your intuition, and it's like, oh, I need the oregano. So you know, and this really works. I have tried this with my ancestors too, and it had really worked, and we had lovely results. So if you need an inspiration from them, try it. It's nearer than we think, because ancestors can really sound like it's 1,000 years ago and I will never reach it, and they were people from a very far period. No, all the ancestors from you until, yes, the start of time, so to say. Yes, reach out for them, and it does not have to be copied from other cultures. It does not have to be something that you don't really feel as your own. It's as easy as lighting a candle and saying deep words from your heart, what you really mean, what you really wish for. Yes, so you don't have to get through everything on yourself. You are not alone. And don't use them like modern spirituality is often like, oh, my source of power, I use it. There is no using, there is just relationship, right? So please don't go about it like these use New Age people I don't know how to say this more elegant, but you know what I will know what I mean. Like, there's no relation, there's no heart, there's just extraction. It is just like colonialist thinking, you could say. Yes, I want to take it, but I don't want to give back, and I don't want to be entangled in all these difficult things. Like a relationship is always a little bit difficult sometimes, but it's also helpful. So we don't get around the things that are a little bit difficult sometimes, but there is so much help and so much support. So open your heart, open your heart. Yes, we always come back to this card, this reading, and you will get support. I mean, look at them. You will have very diverse ancestors, I think. They got through so many things, and they survived, sometimes not in a very good shape. But they made it, and you are here because they went through all these times. So they know how to deal with difficult situations. Yes, they know. So you can ask them. And there will be advice, there will be a warmth in the heart, there will be little hints in everyday life. And at first they are small, and you are like, maybe I'm making this up. But after a while, you will recognize their energy pattern. You will recognize how it feels. And then it will become more and more a thing of everyday life. And then it really helps you. So this is a very good counterbalance to these crazy times we're in right now. Yes, because they knew crazy times. Maybe they had kings and they were just farmers, and they, life was not so easy, and children died and everything. It was not as easy in the past. People are always, in the past, people did not have stress and things like that. Everything was so natural. Well, they had children dying as an everyday event and things like that, or women dying in childbirth, or you never knew how many people would make it through the winter. So a simple infection of a wound could kill you. I mean, life was not stressless in these days, and they made it through. So you can really rely on them. Yes, you can really ask them. They know how to deal with difficult situations. So after this, we have the Chariot card, and we see here a Buddha-like person sitting on this chariot, cherishing this Cancer, this crab, because the Chariot is a card of the zodiac sign Cancer in classical ceremonial magic. Yes, and this almost looks like a temple, this chariot here. And we see here a cow and a bird-like four-legged drawing this chariot. And when it comes to the Chariot card, I always say to people a lot of things, because it's really important to see the whole picture here. This card means moving. Yes, it's like the moving wagon. You don't say it like this in English. It's when you move from one place to the other, literally. Then you have these big cars who bring everything to the next place. So I sometimes compare this card, because the initial or the core meaning is you get from A to B. You will be on a new level, and it will be like effortless. It will be light energy. It will be very supporting energy. You will have a beautiful time. Yes, we are back to walk in beauty with this card. And speaking of native knowledge, it always reflects in this card. And I think the ceremonial magical people, women and men, who invented the tarot cards in the form we know today, they also worked with these core universal laws of life, right? So it's just natural that everyone comes to the same conclusions. And we see this chariot moving beautifully with black and with white. So this means for today, and people are so often so self-optimizing and everything, it means you can go on with your dark and your light sides. You don't have to become the perfect person before things work out, right? You can deal with it, and even the dark sides will bring something to you that is helpful. And then we are with native knowledge again, because for example, there is this classical native story that is told that a granny or a grandfather talking to the younger ones, and they tell the story of the two wolves. There is a black one and there is a white one. And the young one asks which wolf will win. And the person says, well, the one that you feed. And then there comes more knowledge on this. I have read this in a beautiful book. I have it here. Awaken the Sacred from Basil Braveheart. It is about traditional Lakota knowledge and quantum physics. Personally, when it comes to the quantum physics, I'm out. I don't understand it, I don't get it, but the Lakota knowledge here is priceless. And if you want to read just one book this year, in the winter, when we start to read, everyone, so consider this if you like this kind of knowledge. It's mind-blowing and deep and really from the heart. So it's my book of this year, I can say. So he tells the story a little bit different. He says, no, feeding just the white wolf contradicts traditional knowledge, because traditional knowledge is about balance, and this card is also about balance. So he says, and I say it in my example now, so we can get a feeling for it. If you just feed the white wolf, he says the black wolf will become hungry and more hungry, and it will snatch you at the parts where you least expect it. Yes, it will bite you. It won't go away. So my example for this is, for example, in diet, when you cut out many foods, and yes, you lose some pounds, but afterwards you are so hungry that you eat everything and you gain 2 kilograms again. So above where you started. You know what I mean? This is an everyday example, but everyone gets the what it's about when you say it. So this is about feeding and cherishing also the black wolf, because a black wolf will give you stamina, and he gives you the instinct to know when someone is not good for you and things like that. He is not useless, but you have to embrace it. Like, you really have to embrace the shadow, which is difficult for most of us, because we have always been raised in a dualistic society. So this is very deep, and we want to avoid this at all costs. So you could also, for example, if native knowledge is not so much your thing, you could read a book from Pema Chodron. I don't know how to say it in English, because we have this Ö in German, so she is Pema Chodron in German. But I have heard her name in English, Chodron. So I will put a link. I will put a link below. Her books are wonderful, and they are essentially teaching the same, because this is like a new universal truth. You always come back to this. You can't avoid the dark things. Most religions are about how do we deal with the dark things, right? So the native and traditional paths most often found something that is around balance, and they're not about like excluding the dark part, where it can grow more and more, and then it will, bam, come into life much more forceful, and not with his or its helpful side. Like, for example, one helpful side could be that it reminds you where you need to heal. Of course, this is not nice, and we don't like it initially. But when you master the task, and when you really move on, and the knot is away, we would say the knot is exploding in German, then you have much more energy, you are more free and more happy, because you mastered the task of the darkness, right? So when you try to avoid it and put it to the side, you also have to use a lot of energy to put it to the side, so this energy is also missing. So coming back to the cards, we could talk about this topic very long. Coming back to this card, it means you will progress with the dark and the light side. You don't need to be the perfect person to progress at this time. Yes, you can go on, you can cherish what you have, like this little one, and you will come from A to B. And since this card is from the big arcana, this means it's not just about one area of life, like love or work or whatever are your topics. It is about your whole life feeling, like the weather, you could say, you are living now in. So when we put these cards together, many thoughts today, but these cards are really evocative. We have here, broaden your view, see everything, avoid just Saturn thinking, but try to get the broader picture, right? And you will stop hurting yourself when you think too small. We have here the ancestors, the people who went before you. Try to step in their energy, try to get messages from them. It can be small, it does not have to be anything fancy. These days, spirituality is often much too fancy, and you have to buy stuff and things like that. No, you just have to light a candle and speak words from the heart, and you will see the right people will show up. and the right messages will come through. At first, small and tender, and then things will start to develop. You don't have to go through everything just by yourself. You are never out of relation. And here we see the Chariot. You will move on. There will be a new level. And you don't have to be the perfect person in advance. You don't have to be. You can walk with your dark side, with your light side. You will go on. Go on with tenderness. Go on with, with like a cherishing energy, with friendliness, with a tender heart. Yes? So, these are the full moon cards for this time. And we will see each other next time again.